Hello Pisces, welcome to your weekly tarot reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is for the week of March 19th through 25th. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. All right? Remember that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And look at that 9 of discs or pentacles. That seems pretty good start. Let's put that into some context with our Dove and Serpent spread. And if there is anything that you need me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know in the comments to this video, okay? I do read all of the comments. All right, so our Dove and Serpent spread, what do we have? Got a lot of good energy here. Let's do our mystery card, bonus card, our confirmation card. And this is the one that we set aside, and we do not reveal it until the very end of the reading. And hopefully that'll tie everything together, you know, give us the confirmation that we need at the end, be that kind of missing piece of the puzzle. So looking around, we have some major arcana, one on each side, so that's good. We've got some water, we've got some air, and some earth. Okay, pretty good. We've got some air, some earth, and then some more air in the major. So we don't have a tremendous amount of fire. Okay, mystery card, guarantee it'll be some fire. We need something to warm things up. It's starting to get a little cold in here, okay? But what we do have is a tremendous ability to make progress, you know? Like, you're somebody who is, you feel very independent to me, you know? I think that you've always got, like, something going on in your life. You're always, it's like these are all the plates that you're spinning, right? You've got so many things, so many irons in the fire, so to speak, that you've got maybe like a main job, and then you've got a lot of little like side jobs, side hustles, or you've just got a lot of things going on, a lot of projects that you're involved in, you know? You haven't put all of your efforts into one career, one company, one job, one place. You know, you've diversified, let's say. And I think you're someone who's very adept, very skilled at finding new ways to earn money, you know, finding new ways to make progress. Now, this isn't necessarily financial. We could be talking about some fitness, right? I think it's either health and wellness, or it's, you know, your finances and your career, okay? So this could be, you know, something to do with health, finding new ways to increase your health, to improve your health, to make gains, you know, at the gym or with your workout routine, or to always, you know, maybe you're training for one of those Spartan races. Now, last week I couldn't think of what that competition was. It's the Spartan race, where it's, I don't know if it's a marathon or something. It's a certain amount of miles, but there are obstacles. There's mud. You have to army crawl. You have to climb over walls. You have to do, I don't know, all sorts of things, right? I've never done one. That's probably obvious. But I feel like that's kind of what you're training for, right? So it's like you may be running miles and miles and miles one day, the next day you're like deadlifting, you know, or you're working on your nutrition. You know, one week you're just really going heavy on the protein, and then the next week you're maybe doing, I don't know, something else. But I feel like you have a very varied routine, right? It's almost like your routine's never the same. So can we even call it a routine, you know? And I feel like it's the same way in your career, in your work life too. I feel like you have so many skills that you're figuring out a way to maximize the benefits from one particular skill, you know, making that work for you, creating a revenue or an income from that. And at the same time, you're maybe in school to learn something else. You're doing some other kind of work. You have some side projects. There's a lot going on with you. I feel like there are a lot of plates that are spinning, you know. And I think that's how you like to be. You like to always feel like you've made some kind of progress today. You know, you may have a very scheduled life, a very kind of strict routine, but it's one that has so many different components to it that from the outside, maybe it looks like chaos, you know, but there's an order to it. And you know, maybe day to day what you're doing and why you're doing it. And you know the structure and the order and the schedule, but it may look like nonsense to other people, you know, because there's so much in there. There's so much in there that's like scheduled in. And each day you can say confidently at the end of the day when you go to bed that you've made progress in this particular area. And it's maybe measurable. You may even like have it on a spreadsheet or have it on an app, you know, on your phone or something where you're tracking your progress. You want to see the visible gains, you know. You want to be able to have some kind of empirical data, something that is quantifiable, you know. I feel like that's how you thrive. That's how you really can feel like you're making progress, you know. And speaking of feelings, this week there's going to be a lot of emotions that are going to be kind of coming and going with you. It may be that you are reaching a point where you're kind of plateauing with things. That visible sign of progress is slowing down. You know, it could be that all your measurements now are kind of leveled off. You know, that maybe the income numbers or the revenue or the gains or the, you know, whatever, the measurement, the data, seems like it's hit a plateau. And you're going to be going through a lot of emotions because of that. There's going to be kind of like anxiety, nervousness, fear. There's going to be anger, disappointment. There's going to be motivation and positivity that you're just going to have to work harder. I think you're going to really run the gamut of emotions because of this, what seems like a plateau. Okay. And we're going to go straight to the immediate future because of the Six of Pentacles. This is that plateau. But it's not so much a plateau, but it's just like you've hit this sweet spot. You know? So, I mean, it's kind of like a plateau, but you know what? The view is amazing from up here. So this is a real achievement. This is almost like this is the perfection that you were looking for to begin with. This is what you kind of wanted to achieve. But it's a temporary plateau. You know, I think that you are going to push through all of this energy. It's just a matter of dealing with these feelings first and then planning and strategizing and kind of understanding what's going on and how you're going to work your way through it. You know, what you're going to do, what you're going to need to change in order to continue making that upward progress. But the Six, this is a nice place to be. This is almost like you've reached the success that you were looking for. You know, but I think, again, it's a temporary summit, a temporary resting place. It's not the absolute highest peak, you know. It's just yet another base camp. Okay. And I think that you know that. I think that in the recent past or in maybe the last year or so of your life, you've really committed yourself to this routine, this lifestyle, this energy, this discipline, really. Because I feel like you're in control of this really intense ambition and fiery energy that maybe you haven't had your whole life. Maybe this is something, again, relatively new, like the last year of your life. You really saw this transformation from someone who just kind of flowed with the tide, you know, maybe just kind of idled around a little bit, to this really intense, strict discipline. And again, this is like a strictness and a real organization and a real almost compulsive kind of thing because of all this data, I feel like. You know, I feel like you've got the spreadsheets, you've got the apps on your phone, and you're tracking everything. And you know, like kind of every minute, like you're counting the numbers and the measurements, you know. I feel like that's a new thing. I feel like you started this maybe a year ago, and it's intensified. You feel such strong ambition for it. Again, it could be career and work, creativity. It could be your finances and stuff. It could be your fitness. It could be both. Health and wealth, right? Fitness and finances. So your life kind of in general, you know. What we do kind of see missing is a love kind of relationship. And I don't know if that's really an issue because I feel like you've got this intense energy, ambition, this determination, this discipline and stuff that I don't know that you're even interested in a romantic kind of relationship, you know. I don't know that you're even looking for that. Maybe you're in a situation now that you're content with, and that's why we kind of see a lack of water energy here. The water we do see is up above the path of the dove, the Four of Cups. Now, with the Four of Cups, it's telling me that you're content. Okay? You're either content with a relationship now, or you're content without one. Right? But there's no activity here. Your boat is safe, secure, stable. There's no holes in it. You're not going into any storms. You're just kind of, you like where you're at, and you're doing what you're doing, and you're comfortable here. Okay? So there is contentment. There's not some kind of crazy, outrageous love interest. There's not any really, this isn't one of those readings. And I don't think you're in that kind of mood right now. I think you're comfortable and content where you are. You're focused on these gains that you're making, this discipline that you're putting toward your health, your wealth, your fitness, your finances. But like I said, this week feels like there's a slowdown, that there's some kind of a plateau, that you're not seeing the gains that you're used to seeing. The data is reflecting that too, that there's been, this upward curve has now kind of leveled off. It's starting to create a little bit of confusion. You're not really seeing where the problem is. You're not seeing kind of what has caused this plateau. It's something that you weren't predicting. You weren't expecting it. So I feel like you're kind of racking your brain a little bit trying to figure things out. You're trying to put more data into the system. You're trying to analyze the data even more. And I feel like you're getting a little bit wrapped up in all this data, all these numbers and measurements, right? Rather than just kind of going with your flow, going with your intuition, going with your discipline and your energy, and maybe stepping away from the data a little bit. Stepping away from the numbers. The numbers will sort themselves out. Maybe don't look at the stats for a few days, and just put in your effort, do your work, have your discipline and your determination, see what the numbers look like next week. Maybe wait a few days and see if something happens. Sometimes, when we're watching the pot, it'll never boil. Sometimes we have to take our attention off of it and allow things to just kind of develop. Maybe it's not really a plateau. Maybe you're just looking at it so minutely. Seven of Swords. You're looking at it so minutely that you're seeing this, you're perceiving a plateau, and really it may not be there. Okay? Maybe not. Moving over to the path of the Serpent now, we do see a general energy, a Four of Swords. We have the Four of Cups. We've got a Four of Swords. I think you're moving into this being kind of comfortable and content with how things are going. Even though you got that Seven of Swords, you feel like there's a plateau. You want to look at the numbers. You want to analyze the data. I think you're going to put that to rest. Like I said, you're going to continue with the activity. You're going to try to be just calm, just not rush to conclusions, not change a bunch of things right away. Give it a few more days. You're going to try to find some rest in your mind and not be stressed out about this. Just continue with the work, right? Just continue doing what you're doing, and things will work themselves out. So this is the same kind of being comfortable and content with how things are. You're trying your hardest to do this. We have the Four of Cups saying, in kind of in your emotional life, in your romantic life, let's say, you're comfortable, you're content. There's nothing stirring that up. But in this comfortability and contentment in your mind, mentally, with all of this data, you want there to be peace and quiet and calm, but you've got this Seven of Swords that's agitating things, right? You want to analyze and investigate. You want to make changes and experiment, and you want to dive into the numbers. You're trying to not do that, at least for a few days. Okay. Now, in your environment, in your biggest resource, I think, is your endurance. Got a Seven of Pentacles here. This is usually failure. This is usually doing a lot of work and not seeing any gains. You know, it's kind of the opposite of what we want. But I think that's the reality of things now. I think you're doing the effort and you may not be perceiving the gains right now. It may look like a plateau. It may look like you're failing. And that's why we're saying to wait a few days to see how it progresses, right? Maybe this isn't a plateau. Maybe it's just kind of slow down a little bit, or the weather, or, you know, whatever, the stock market. So, you know, despite this perceived plateau, I don't know what else to call it. Despite this perception, you're not gonna quit. You're not gonna slow down. You're not gonna just say, "Oh, I couldn't do it. I failed. It's done. I'm over." No, you're gonna keep at it, because you have this really strong lust or strength card in the recent past that's pushing you forward. This is the fire that's motivating you, right? This is the fire that's pushing you forward through all of this. And despite this perceived lack of progress and gains, you're going to continue doing the hard work. Okay, I know that about you. And the next card, Fears, Worries, and Concerns, is, well, the magus, the magician, the trickster, the juggler. You may be worried that you have just fudged this whole plan. Maybe all of the data, all of the planning, all of the system, the whole schedule, everything, maybe it wasn't right. Maybe there was a mistake. Maybe there was a 4 that should have been a 7, or, you know, something like that. You're going to start questioning your own abilities and skills and talents to organize and orchestrate this thing, you know? And that's the kind of joke that Mercury will play on you. This is the trickster, right? The trickster is going to make you feel you're doing perfectly good work. You're getting the gains. You've got just such a tremendous thing going. You're going to have these self-doubts, right? You're going to think yourself a failure. You're going to think that you've made mistakes and errors and that you're just wrong and that you're not as smart as you thought you were. That's all the joke of Mercury, the trick, right? He'll make you think that while you're doing this tremendous work, that you're not making any progress, you know? So this is something that we have to overcome. Right? We've got to overcome this, because this really could bring the whole system down if you succumb to this kind of self-doubt, you know. The very next card, and the last on the path of the serpent, is this Queen of Swords. This could be an air sign person in your life. It could be your friend, your partner, co-worker, family member, or something. I think that this is you know, someone that you can kind of call up on the phone and talk to. You know, they may be an air sign person, maybe. They may be the person that you go to when you need that reassurance, you know. And like I said, you're going to have a lot of this 5 of Cups. A lot of these swirling emotions are going to be going on right now with the situation this week. You're going to feel a lot of different feelings. It might be important to check in with this person and just express your feelings to them. Tell them kind of how your moods are shifting and the different things that you're thinking about, and just allow them to use their kind of watery energy, right? The Queen of Swords is the watery aspect of the communication. Allow them to put your mind at ease, right? Allow them to say what they say to kind of to talk you down, to calm you down, and you know, to kind of reassure you. And that way you don't kind of jump to any conclusions or do something that you might regret and bring the whole system down, you know. So I think this is someone that you can reach out to, and I think it's important that you do reach out to them. Okay. Now the mystery card. I said this was going to be some fire, and I meant it. We have all of this fire with this Leo energy, this lust and strength energy in the recent past. This was the beginning of your discipline, the beginning of this journey when you started it. It's getting a little cold now. You know, maybe you can even see my breath down here. It's getting a little cold. We need something to warm things up. All of these cards are starting to look a little cold. You know, we've got the blues and the purples and just the dark kind of colors. It seems like it's pretty chilly over here. It was kind of warm over here. I mean, this card's hot. This lust or strength card is hot. It's starting to get kind of cold. We need some fire. Is this going to be an ace? I don't think it's going to be the ace, because we kind of have what I would call an ace right here with this lust or strength card. kind of the initial impulse, what started all of this, right? Maybe it's about going back to the source and remembering what it was that got this whole thing started for you. What was the kind of the beginning stages? What was that? Was it one event? Did something happen? Did you have an epiphany, a realization that got you started on this path? Maybe. I think this is through really just lighting a bonfire right here, right now, where you are, and getting yourself warmed back up again. Okay, so it's not about going back to the past and figuring out kind of how we started or where we came from. No, it's about just wherever we are right now, we'll get our flint and our tinder out and we'll make a fire. No, not the app. Fire. So I think this is going to be, I think it's going to be a Seven of Wands. I think it's going to be a Seven of Wands because despite the obstacle, despite the perceived opponent, this plateau, this lack of gains, all of this worry, all of these emotions, you're trying to battle against a lot of this stuff. You've got to build your fire and push your way forward. So it's about the bravery to keep going, to ease back from this kind of mental stress and frustration and just continue to do it. Warm yourself up by the fire and keep working. Okay? Even though the odds seem really great, it seems like you're being overwhelmed. It seems like your gains have slowed or stopped. Keep pushing. Seven of Wands. That's what I feel. And here's the Seven of Wands. So this really is the bonfire. Wherever you are right now, you're creating this fire. Warm yourself up and keep working. You know, yeah, the odds may be against you. It may be a real challenge to kind of push through the emotions, push through the doubt, push through the kind of mental stress, the confusion perhaps. But you started with this really strong discipline and determination, and you're just warming that back up again. Pop it in the microwave, give it a minute, and it's going to be hot again. Okay? And you'll have the energy to continue battling this force for at least a few days, and then you can revisit the data and see if things have changed. But it could be enough to just, you have to just, you have to push back a little bit, and then it will yield, and you'll continue making progress. Okay? So this is about pushing through the opposition. Don't give up. Don't relinquish. Don't turn down your power at all. Just keep fighting, and eventually that wall, that brick wall, will yield to you. Okay? Even though it seems like it may not. Anyway, interesting reading for you this week. I rather enjoyed this. I feel like we've got this fire at the end, so we're starting to warm up a little bit, and we've got some nice optimism for the future. Things are going to go in a really great direction, I feel. We're going to do an extended. If you want to stick around, click on the link that's right up here. You can have access to all of the extended readings. This was your weekly reading, March 19th through 25th on Dove and Serpent Tarot.